Imagine waking up exactly 3 months from today, looking at your bank account and seeing a number that brings tears of relief to your eyes. Imagine the crushing weight of debt simply vanishing, replaced by a sense of power and freedom you have not felt since you were a child. This is not a fantasy. This is not a lottery ticket. This is the result of a biological and psychological reset that takes exactly 90 days to execute. You are about to discover the hidden formula that the wealthiest men in history used to build empires from nothing. Do not click away, because the next few minutes will determine if you stay exactly where you are, or if you finally break the chains of financial mediocrity. Welcome back to our channel. Today, we are not just talking about money. We are talking about the architecture of your destiny. We are diving deep into the mind of a man who spent more than 20 years analyzing 25,000 people to find the answer to one simple question. What makes a man rich? That man was Napoleon Hill. Born in a one-room cabin in Pound, Virginia, in 1883, Hill was not born with a silver spoon in his mouth. He fought his way up from poverty, eventually becoming an advisor to two presidents of the United States, Woodrow Wilson and Franklin Delano Roosevelt. But his greatest contribution to humanity began in 1908, inside the opulent office of Andrew Carnegie. At that time, Carnegie was not just wealthy. He was the second richest human being who had ever walked the earth, surpassed only by John D. Rockefeller. Carnegie saw a spark in young Napoleon Hill. He saw a hunger, and he gave him a challenge that would change the world. He told Hill to dedicate his life to organizing a philosophy of success, a science of achievement that could be taught to the common man. Carnegie believed that wealth was not a matter of luck, but a matter of law. If you follow the law, you get the result. It is as precise as gravity. Now, you might be asking yourself, why 90 days? Why not a week? Why not a year? Listen closely. Modern neuroscience has caught up with what Napoleon Hill knew intuitively a century ago. It takes roughly 66 to 90 days to rewire the neural pathways in your brain. To move a behavior from something you have to force yourself to do to something you do automatically. Most people fail because they quit on day 14 or day 30. They try to use willpower, but willpower is a battery that runs out. The method we are discussing today is about installing a new operating system in your subconscious mind so that getting rich becomes your default setting. Let us be honest for a moment. What is your biggest fear right now? Is it the fear of poverty? The fear of old age? The fear of criticism? Napoleon Hill identified these as the primary ghosts that haunt the human mind. Maybe you are sitting there thinking, I have tried everything. I have read the books. I have watched the videos, but my bank account is still empty. I hear you. The problem is not the information. The problem is the application. You have been consuming content, but you have not been transmuting it. You have been a drifter. In his later work, Hill described the drifter as someone who lets life happen to them, someone who accepts whatever the world throws at them. The non-drifter, the one who becomes wealthy, has a mind of their own and uses it for a definite purpose. The 90-day rule is your contract with yourself to stop drifting. It is a period of intense, laser-focused mental programming, and it begins with the first and most critical step, definite of purpose. You cannot hit a target you cannot see. Most people say, I want to be rich. That is weak. That is a wish, not a command. The universe does not respond to vague wishes. It responds to specific orders. For the next 90 days, you must clarify your number. Not a lot of money, but a specific amount. Let us say, for example, you want to generate $10,000, or perhaps $100,000. Write it down, but here is the secret sauce that most people miss. You must define exactly what you will give in return for this money. There is no such thing as something for nothing. That is a violation of natural law. Are you going to sell a product? Are you going to offer a service? Are you going to work extra hours? You must determine the price you are willing to pay. Napoleon Hill said, "The starting point of all achievement is desire. Keep this constantly in mind. Weak desire brings weak results, just as a small amount of fire makes a small amount of heat. You need to fan that flame into a burning desire. A desire so strong it keeps you up at night. A desire that obsesses you. During these 90 days, you are going to wake up every single morning and read your written statement aloud. You are going to tell yourself, I have $50,000 in my possession, even if your pockets are empty. You must speak it into existence until your subconscious mind believes it is true. Before we continue to the next crucial step in this 90-day transformation, I have a small request. If you are feeling a spark of motivation, if you realize that you are meant for more than just surviving, please click the like button below. It helps this message reach more people who are lost in the fog of poverty. And if you are not subscribed, join our community. We are building a legion of thinkers and achievers. Also, I want you to go to the comments section right now and write this phrase. I am the master of my fate. Write it down. Commit to it publicly. This simple act of typing it out is the first step in physicalizing your thought. Now, let us talk about the mechanism that makes this work. Auto-suggestion. This is the center of the 90-day rule. Your subconscious mind is like a fertile garden. It does not care if you plant corn or if you plant poison ivy. It will grow whatever seeds you feed it. For years, perhaps decades, you have been feeding it seeds of doubt, fear, and scarcity. You have looked at the news and said, the economy is bad. You have looked at your bills and said, I can never afford this. You have hypnotized yourself into being poor. For the next 90 days, we are going to reverse that hypnosis. Napoleon Hill discovered that the subconscious mind cannot distinguish between a real physical experience and one that is vividly imagined. If you close your eyes and imagine biting into a sour lemon, your mouth will water. Your body reacts to the thought as if it were reality. We are going to use this principle for money. Twice a day, immediately upon waking up and right before you go to sleep, you will visualize your goal. But you cannot just see the money. You must feel the money. You must feel the texture of the paper in your hands. You must smell the crisp scent of the bills. You must feel the emotion of gratitude as if you already possess it. This is where the science of the reticular activating system comes in. Your brain filters out millions of bits of information every second. When you focus intensely on a specific financial goal for 90 days, you program your reticular activating system to spot opportunities that were always there, but you were blind to them. Suddenly, you will overhear a conversation that leads to a business deal. You will see a book that contains the answer you needed. You will get an idea in the shower that is worth $1 million. It is not magic, it is focus. As Hill said, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. But let us address a major objection. You might be thinking, this sounds like daydreaming. How does sitting around thinking about money put cash in my pocket? That is a fair question. The thinking does not create the money directly. The thinking creates the behavior that creates the money. The thoughts lead to feelings. The feelings lead to actions, and the actions lead to results. If your thoughts are filled with fear, your action is paralysis. If your thoughts are filled with faith and certainty, your action is massive and effective. During this 90-day period, you must confront the enemy of faith, skepticism. We live in a cynical world. People love to say, be realistic. Andrew Carnegie was not realistic. Thomas Edison was not realistic. Henry Ford was not realistic. Being realistic is the fastest road to mediocrity. You must cultivate faith. Hill described faith not just as a religious concept, but as a state of mind that can be induced by affirmation. You must lie to your brain until it believes the truth. You must tell yourself you are wealthy until your behavior aligns with wealth. Let me give you a concrete example of how this applies today. Look at the story of huge tech founders or modern entrepreneurs. Before they had the product, before they had the investors, they had the vision. They lived in the reality of their success before the world caught up. They operated under the 90-day intensity constantly. They did not wait for permission. You are waiting for permission to be rich. You are waiting for the economy to improve, for your boss to give you a raise, for the government to save you. None of that is coming. You are the rescue party. Another critical element of the 90-day rule is specialized knowledge. Hill emphasized that general knowledge is useless for accumulating money. You do not need to know everything. You need to know how to get what you want. You need to become an expert in one thing. For the next 90 days, dedicate 1 hour every single day to studying your chosen vehicle for wealth. If it is real estate, read every book on the market. If it is the stock market, study the charts until your eyes bleed. If it is sales, practice your pitch in the mirror. Knowledge is only potential power. It becomes actual power only when organized into definite plans of action and directed to a definite end. Do not just learn, apply. If you learn a new marketing strategy today, implement it tomorrow. Speed of implementation is a trait of the wealthy. Poor people analyze, rich people act. Perfection is the enemy of profit. Do not wait for the perfect plan. Start with the plan you have and correct it as you go. Let us talk about the mastermind principle. Hill stated that no mind is complete by itself. All great fortunes were built through the coordination of 2 or more minds working toward a definite purpose. In these 90 days, look at your circle. Are the 5 people you spend the most time with pushing you up or pulling you down? If your friends are constantly complaining, gossiping, and talking about how hard life is, you need to quarantine yourself from them. It sounds harsh, but it is necessary. You cannot fly with eagles if you are scratching with turkeys. You do not necessarily need to form a formal board of directors, but you can form a virtual mastermind. Read the biographies of the greats. Listen to podcasts of people who are where you want to be. Let their voices drown out the negativity of your environment. I want to ask you a rhetorical question. How much is your peace of mind worth? How much is your freedom worth? Because that is what we are buying with this 90-day sacrifice. Yes, it will be a sacrifice. You might have to give up Netflix. You might have to give up scrolling on social media for 3 hours a day. You might have to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning while the rest of the world is sleeping. But remember this: temporary discomfort is the price of long-term freedom. If you do what is easy, your life will be hard. If you do what is hard, your life will be easy. One of the most profound concepts Hill taught was the transmutation of energy. We all have energy: emotional energy, physical energy, sexual energy. The wealthy know how to channel this energy into their creative efforts. Instead of wasting your energy on arguments, on road rage, on frustration, pour it all into your 90-day goal. Become a laser beam. A light bulb illuminates a room, but a laser can cut through steel. The difference is focus. Be the laser. Let us deepen the understanding of the 6th sense that Hill speaks about. He describes it as the portion of the subconscious mind, which has been referred to as the creative imagination. It is the receiving set, through which ideas, plans, and thoughts flash into the mind. These flashes are sometimes called hunches or inspiration. During your 90-day cycle, pay attention to these hunches. When you have a sudden urge to call someone, do it. When you have a sudden idea to change your product, do it. This is your subconscious mind guiding you toward the path of least resistance to your money. Do not ignore the whisper. I want to discuss the concept of persistence. Hill wrote an entire chapter on this because he saw it as the main reason for failure. He tells the story of R.U. Darby, who stopped digging for gold just 3 feet from the vein. He gave up, sold his machinery to a junk man, and went home. The junk man called a mining engineer, checked the fault lines, and found the gold exactly 3 feet from where Darby stopped. That junk man became a millionaire because he knew how to seek expert counsel, and he did not quit. You are Darby. You are digging. The 90 days are your shovel. Do not stop digging. The The gold is there. It is inevitable if you do not quit. Think about the times you have failed in the past. Hill teaches that every adversity, every failure, every heartache carries with it the seed of an equivalent or greater benefit. This is hard to swallow when you are in pain. But if you look back at your life, you will see that your biggest struggles led to your biggest growth. Use your past failures as fuel. Prove them wrong. Prove to yourself that you are capable of greatness. As we move through this 90-day blueprint, we must also address the decision-making process. Procrastination is the opposite of decision. It is a common enemy which practically every person must conquer. Analysis of several hundred people who had accumulated fortunes well beyond the $1 million mark disclosed the fact that every one of them had the habit of reaching decisions promptly and of changing these decisions slowly, if and when they were changed. People who fail to accumulate money, without exception, have the habit of reaching decisions, if at all, very slowly, and of changing them quickly and often. So, today, you must make a decision. Not a preference, but a decision. The word decision comes from the Latin root decidere, which means to cut off. When you make a true decision, you cut off any other possibility. You cut off the possibility of failure. You cut off the possibility of retreating. You burn the ships. If you want to take the island, you must burn the ships so that there is no way to go back. Your 90-day challenge is your burning of the ships. Now, let us get practical with the daily routine for these 90 days. Morning. Wake up 30 minutes earlier than usual. Find a quiet spot. Read your statement of purpose aloud with emotion. Close your eyes and visualize the money in your bank account for 10 minutes. Exercise for 20 minutes to get your blood flowing and your energy up. Wealth requires vitality. During your commute or while you get ready, listen to educational content, not the news. Afternoon. Do at least one task that directly moves the needle toward your financial goal. Not busy work, but productive work. Evening. Before bed, review your day. Did you drift? Or were you on course? Read your statement aloud again. Visualize again. Sleep with the thought of success.